Any master of their trade understands the importance of having the right tool for the job. When it comes to using QuickBooks Online, there is only one application that will cut down the number of clicks and the time you spend handling your accounting data every single day. That app is RightTool. During today's video, we're going to show you 14 of our favorite features. Hey, thanks for checking today's video out. Hi, my name is Matthew Fulton, and as a cloud-based accountant, I help companies improve their efficiency and profitability through personalized training, app integrations, and customized workflows. Normally, when I talk about customized workflows, it involves integrating two applications and determining where and when information should be entered in. Today's video is a little different because RightTool enhances the way users interact with QuickBooks Online. Before I dive into the app and show you our favorite features, I want to share with you a little bit about the amazing team behind this application. Now, if you spent any time searching YouTube for tips, tricks, or tutorials on anything QuickBooks related, I would be amazed if you do not know the name Hector Garcia. Over the past couple years, I've been pretty fortunate to get to know Hector rather well, and I'm sure you'd agree with me. You'd be hard-pressed to find somebody who knows more about QuickBooks Desktop or QuickBooks Online. Well, one day, Hector was scrolling through his LinkedIn feed when he saw an interesting post by Mark Corum, a developer turned accountant turned back into a developer. And Mark, in the post, well, he was showing some pretty fancy tricks, things he was able to make QuickBooks Online do. Of course, this immediately got Hector's attention, and I guess you could basically say fast forward a couple months and RightTool was born. Now, Hector and Mark work with their incredibly talented team to help turn every QuickBooks Online user into a power user. So now that you know a little bit more about the team behind this application, why don't we go ahead and dive in and show you some of our favorite features. It's worth noting that RightTool has over 100 different features they offer, all built in. And if you come to their website, you can actually check out their free versus pro comparison sheet to go through and get a listing of all the different functions, as well as different videos you can watch about what each one of those will do. One of my favorite things right off the bat has to do with the area of the bank feeds. I wanted to show you some of the tricks that RightTool can do directly when you're dealing with transactions itself. One of the first ones is going to be when you're going through and you see these recorded transfer on the side here. This is always really frustrating because it requires us to go in every single time to click categorized, and then we have the ability to actually assign like a payee and a category to something. So if we want to be able to go through and eliminate that, it'll add on this little button right here that says untransfer, and we can just simply click on this. And it's going to go through, and this one actually had quite a few of them. It's going to go through, check off every single one of these, and it's going to take and undo those as a record transfer. The reason this is so cool is that will then give me the ability to come back through here, and I can start to bulk edit and update these quicker so I don't have to go click in and out one at a time. You can already see it's changed a whole batch of these to be add instead of having that record transfer set up onto it. So once that's done, you can see all of these have been switched back over to an add, and I can very easily come in, select into one of them or multiple and do batch editing onto it. Definitely a major time saver. Now, the next thing inside the bank area that I also love is if you take a look at any of the transactions, sometimes we run into an issue where we're trying to figure out, well, what the heck does a certain bank memo mean possibly? You can actually come into here, click on a transaction, and if you don't know what it is, come and click on where it says Google Memo. Once you do this, it's going to pop up and use that memo to try to do an automatic search for you to give you an idea of what the actual transaction could be for. I got to tell you, that saves tons of time instead of me having to go copy, paste it, and do it all myself. So one of my absolute favorite functionalities. Still inside this area, if sometimes what you'll find is maybe transactions got pulled into the bank feeds and therefore into the register faster than you wanted, and now you want to actually come in here and remove all these or delete them all. Well, without RightTool, you'd actually have to go in and do them one at a time. With RightTool, you have batch functionality here. So what I'm able to do is I could actually come in and do some editing, And I can click and select transactions I want to modify. So I can go to the bottom here, hit shift, hold it, select multiples. I can then hit edit, and basically any field that you can see on the screen here, you can come in and modify the details. I love the fact with the memo, you can actually append or prepend a note to the current memo. So that way you know that you made a change of some sort. You can change accounts that these are going to. So if you want to do bulk adjustments or name-wise, you can easily do that. You can also do the reconciliation status. Now, this is cool that you can do it in bulk, but be careful with this. You need to understand how the reconciliations actually work, because if you trigger something to be just R as in reconciled, when you actually go to do a reconciliation, they won't populate there and it can change your beginning and ending balances. So be careful on that part. What I'm going to show here though is how you can actually come in and delete transactions. So let's say things got pulled in inappropriately and you want to delete them, get them back into the bank feed area so that way they can be processed by new rules very easily. If I come here, I can select the ones and then hit delete. It's going to ask me, hey, are you sure you really want to do this? Are you sure? Are you sure? Okay, going to do it. Click OK as well. By doing this, since they came through the bank feed, what will happen is they will actually be back in. I'm going to refresh it here. 289 will go back up. They'll be back in that bank feed area. Now that does mean if you actually manually coded a transaction in there and then you deleted that, it would just completely disappear. But this is a great way if you need to pull things out of a wrong account, put them back in and reprocess through rules or something of that nature. You can easily do that. Now, another thing you're able to do if you go into the settings of RightTools is you actually have the ability inside of RightTools, pull it up. You can see all your different functionality, everything inside here. But if I come into my error prevention, you're going to see the ability to restrict transfers in bank feeds and restrict credit card payments in bank feeds. So if I turn both of these on, I hit save and refresh, you're going to notice all the tabs up here are starting to refresh here. It's going to reload that using those new features, which is awesome. What this is going to do is previously it would be showing us like, hey, the record transfer capability. With these new functions, it's going to eliminate the ability to actually use the transfer function to where if you've already matched one side of a transfer. So if you noticed, all of that transfer stuff just went away. I like this personally because we find one of the biggest challenges that happen inside of people's books is they'll do a transfer from one account to the other, which means both accounts have money coming in and out at the same time. And if you don't line those up just right, you end up creating duplicate transactions, doubling the stuff, and it causes a whole bunch of cleanup. The other part of it is the ability to where you can record a credit card payment. And what that means is, like, let's say you've got your Amex credit card and you're making a payment of $1,000 to it. If you choose to do the record credit card payment through the top here, what that would do is, so pay down credit card here, it's very much like a transfer, but it's a type of transaction you can't get to through other aspects of the program. It also is a feature that does not export if you ever wanted to export from QuickBooks Online back to QuickBooks Desktop. So I actually like the ability to turn those off. Little nuanced things, but they'll guarantee better quality in the long run for sure. Now my next set of features I'd like to talk about are all focused around utilizing journal entries. So I'm going to be honest, as an accountant, even myself, sometimes when I'm coming into here and I'm trying to add something else onto here, I'm going to pretend we're adding extra gross wages on or something. Sometimes when I'm making these entries, I will forget what is supposed to be the debit and which is the credit to actually get me the numbers where I need them to be. So one of the things you can turn on is the ability to put on these actual up and down arrows. So it's showing you, okay, gross wages, if it's a debit, that's going to normally raise the account balance versus a credit would lower it. Liability being the opposite will show you this way as well. So what this little secret does for me, it helps save me time to where I don't put something in the wrong way. Let's say like this 912, if I accidentally put in the wrong side, well, my whole thing would be off I'd have to go look, check a report, see if I got it right, and then come back and try to fix it. So this saves me a little bit of embarrassment on the audit trail and time to make sure it all goes in correct, nice and clean. Now, the other thing that you can do inside here, which I really dig, is let's say you've got this and it's all disorganized because there's extra lines that you really don't need in here for any reason. Well, you can come to here, the clear zero values line, and this will actually help remove those lines for us automatic. Immediately gets rid of that stuff. You can bring this back up, makes it look nice and clean, and you look like a pro that knows what you're doing. Love it. Okay, this next one, still in the journal entries area, came from a real life example where this helped save me probably at least 30 to 40 minutes on just one task. So let's say you have a large journal entry and you need to update or modify the information that's inside here. Thanks to RightTool, you can actually come in and you can first export a CSV of this entire journal entry. Boom, you do that, it's going to download it and save it. And in this example, what I'm going to do is I actually need to come into here and I want to add into the description extra information on each one of these. It says paid with and check number, since in a journal entry you can't actually match that. There's no way to put the check number down. So with this in mind, I can use that export and then I can use their copy and paste from Excel function to bring this stuff back in. So I would go to Excel and I'd basically open up the sheet they already had. Of course, I set this up to make it a little bit easier. On the next tab, I'm taking the same information and then I've got the extra information I want to add to a description. So what I'm going to do real quickly is I'm going to add a quick formula. It's going to tell me equals, take this, ampersand. I'm going to basically put a little extra stuff into here. And then ampersand, boom, enter. So now what that's done is it gave me a formula to get all this information the way I want. I'm going to come back, I'm going to copy these, put it back over, and I'm going to paste the values back in as actual text, no formulas. So now I'm going to take all this same information and we're going to just take it and copy it. Control C. We'll go back up to QuickBooks Online and let's go this right here, paste from Excel. This will pull up in a quick second here. It's going to say paste here, Control V, and it's going to show me exactly what I wanted. All looks good, and I'm going to go run. Check it out. That quickly, it updated all of that information all inside of there for me right away. And we'll save and close this thing, of course. Now, you also have inside of here the RightTool Print capability. So by doing this, it'll give you a nice, clean printing of your journal entry that you can save as a PDF or actually print it however you wish. And then last but not least, you also have the ability inside of here, there's actually two more. One is searching, so you can do find and replace text, which will go through all of your descriptions, everything else, and change that out for you, one at a time or all of them. And then you also have this ability where you can come and copy down from columns. So a great use for something like this is, let's say I need to change the account this is supposed to be from, instead of being checking to notify checking, I can come right up to here and then go copy down columns. Now click the cell you want to copy from. You're going to start with line 1, yes. And it will then go and copy all the way down through to every single one of them. Now, one of the last ones I'm going to share, at least in this video, this is a pretty cool one. Again, I got to say, do a big thank you out to Hector specifically for me on this one. So I happen to be colorblind. And what that means is, in most of the reports within QuickBooks Online, if you come into here, you've got the ability that you can always show all your numbers, the negative numbers, in red. I've never been able to use it because I can't tell the difference of the red. So what they did is they set up an extra functionality inside of the accessibility that allows colorblind negatives, so I can turn these on to be blue instead. So as you saw here, changes, and now any negative numbers are showing up in a bright blue, so I can do a better job for my clients talking to, reviewing the stuff and then discussing stuff with them as well. Those are just a couple of my absolute favorite features and functions in RightTool. If you want to see more about what can be done once you've downloaded and installed the thing, it's really, really easy to open up your sidebar here, go to your little icons here to get you to the settings, and everything is listed out for all the functionalities that you can turn on and off. Each and every one of these, when you see the little icon here, it's linked to a description and a video to tell you what it does. You can see at the bottom how many of the features you have turned on. Makes it super easy, and then you can even search through all of these settings to try to find something a little bit faster. I do happen to have a pro account thanks to Hector, so I could play with this system and be able to really test it out to give him more feedback. When I told Hector I was going to be making a video demonstrating some of the cool features in RightTool, I asked him if he'd be able to provide me with a special discount code for our viewers. So when you go to set up RightTool and you're ready for that pro subscription, use the code SPOT20 and it will get you a special discount for a limited time on RightTool Pro. So I hope today's video has been helpful and showed you a new tool that you can do to help improve your efficiency. Do me a favor, if you liked this video and if you haven't already, take a quick moment to like and subscribe to the channel below. Don't forget to hit the bell so you'll be notified of all new videos when they come out. And of course, please, if you've got any questions or comments, put them in the comments below and I'll be more than happy to follow up and respond back to you. Thanks again for watching today, and here's wishing you all a very successful week.